What's up, players? Welcome to the Chip Tooth Podcast, Chip Tooth Gaming's weekly conversational nerdy news show, discussing all the hot topics of the week in the nerd sphere. I'm your host, Mike Doherty, and alongside me today is old trusty himself, Bunyea.
What's up, dude?
Yeah,
that's what I'm going with.
it's your death cry right now.
That is
your
my
last legs of this kid battle you've been fighting. Kyle, what day has it been? How many days have you gotten? You look like you're going to say something.
I always look like I'm going to say something.
Staring at me blankly.
It's what I do best.
Those dead eyes of yours that your wife and kid suck the life out of.
No way, dude. Bring me nothing but joy. It's awesome.
Kyle Bunyea, what have you been up to this week?
Work. I had to drive down to Irvine yesterday for training, so that was fun. I killed like 3 hours of my day, 4 hours of my day. But other than that, not a whole lot. I haven't even been able to pick up Splatoon too much this week. Just being a busy adult.
It's on the go, man. You can take it when you go to Irvine.
Not while I'm driving. Not while I'm sitting in a classroom.
That's just how you gotta level up, dude. You gotta have the skill to be able to drive and play the Switch.
No. I took the toll roads, skipped the traffic, making my boss pay for the tolls.
Smart. Glad what government money is going to your toll roads.
Hey, it was either that or I get paid 2 extra hours pay sitting in my car.
Everybody needs to move out of California. I'm just gonna say this right now.
Agreed.
If you're looking to move to California, don't.
Yeah.
Wherever you're from, that place is awesome.
If you're in here, leave so we can have it to ourselves.
If you live in California, it's not awesome. If you're from California, you should go to Texas. It's pretty nice. And they have the space.
Yeah, if you want to sweat from your crack profusely every day.
Kyle, we're trying to sell them on moving.
No. Yeah.
We're trying to get them to leave.
Go to Texas. It's nice.
Hey, they have $1.50 gas. $1.50 a gallon, Kyle.
Yeah, there's got to be something to get you to live there.
It's an enticing one.
What is it? Alaska pays you to live there. Texas gives you cheap gas. And you get to carry a gun around.
Make these hellholes worth it. And then California is just too good, so they just make it worse to live in.
Seriously. How bad can we make it so you leave? Here's $4 a gallon in gas. Here's $4 a gallon for milk. Oh, you know that house that's like $100,000 everywhere else? $300,000 here. And on top of that, we'll have road construction on the busiest freeways at the busiest times of the week.
At all times, always. And the drivers will be terrible. And if you don't want to buy a house and you want to rent because you're not ready to buy a house, okay, that's going to be $3,000 for a 2-bedroom.
Yep. Sounds about right.
Amazing. What an amazing state we live in, huh?
Oh, God. And our insurance premiums go higher than anybody else. Super awesome.
I hate it. I hate it and I love it at the same time.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, once you move out of California, it's really hard to afford to move back.
But you go to Texas, like this Patreon game people have been getting on. If I started a Patreon and I was actual successful Patreon, I would move to like Texas or Wyoming in a heartbeat. Like in a heartbeat. And just like fly people out. Yeah, it's cheap.
Did you just say Wyoming?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's Wyoming, right?
It's Wyoming.
No, it's Wyoming.
No, it's not. So the ing is silent.
Wyoming.
Do you pronounce the S in Illinois, sir?
No, but you definitely pronounce the ing in Wyoming.
I think you're wrong on this.
It's not.
It's 100% silent.
No, it's not. Oh man, what is that college education of? Where are my tax dollars going right now?
That's not.
Nowhere.
Let's not bring this up. No, Kyle, 100% is silent. It's Wyoming.
Oh my gosh, you're an idiot.
Wyoming.
You're an idiot. I can't tell if you're just being.
I'm being 100% genuine. It's Wyoming. It's always been Wyoming. It always will be Wyoming. Wyoming. That's stupid. That makes no sense.
God, you flunked geography in elementary school, didn't you?
No, this has nothing to do with geography.
It's
It's
got-
basic spelling.
Oh man. Oh
You
man.
can't have a Y and an I next to each other without one of them being silent.
The Y is not next to the I. What are you talking about? Oh man, someone in the comments tell this kid he's an idiot because apparently he doesn't listen to me anymore. It's Wyoming.
It's been a long day, KB.
It's by Colorado.
The O silent.
Colorado.
Colorado. Hey, I think that's a better name. I think we're on to something here, KB.
Nevada. California. California.
No, it's pronounced. We have all the syllables because we need everything we can get.
Anyway, this is pointless. You're wrong.
It's so good. Man, I'm just joking. I wasn't being serious at all.
I think you were. And that worries me. That worries me just a little bit. No, I agree. I think all of these studios and entertainment companies should just move out of California because it'd be way cheaper to do all of their work.
Well, like look at someone like Colin Moriarty, the $40,000 a month for Colin's Last Stand. If you'd moved to Texas, that's $40,000 a month in Texas. You're a millionaire.
Seriously, yeah.
Like,
but you moved to Santa Monica, where it's like one of the most expensive cities in Southern California.
Well, and he stayed in California.
Right on the beach.
Santa Monica, where he's probably considered low income.
Seriously. I don't get it.
It's a great world we live in.
I'd leave.
Bunyea. I've been extremely busy this week. I'm going to jump in to Tacoma tonight, and I'm going to have impressions on that on the next Chip Tooth podcast. I'm actually going to dust off my old trusty Xbox, update the drivers because it never seems to be working properly and how it should be because Microsoft can't make hardware.
I have not had a single problem with mine, so I don't know what your deal is.
Just playing Rainbow with you guys is the most cumbersome experience.
In fairness, that's not really Xbox's fault. That's Connor's fault.
No, well, Connor's
internet drops him like every 5 minutes.
It's not just that, though. I'm not even talking about the connectivity experience. Just the menus, getting to everything, turning things on and off. Like, they just, again, going back to this thing, they just say, what's the most difficult thing we can do? And they may, like, how can we make this harder is what I feel like they just ask themselves before they actually do something.
So, couple of questions. One, do you really think that Crash Skylander is going to be collectible someday?
Because it's meant, leave me alone. No, I like it. It's collectible to me, KB.
And two, why do you have your brother-in-law's picture of fireworks framed behind you?
I like that. Shout out to Beauty from Ashes Photography, Chris Barrett. Beautiful work.
Apparently, they got really offended from the episode a couple of weeks ago.
But what?
I guess we made fun of them the whole time. I don't even remember it. The only thing I remember was I called him an idiot because he said something about picking up Splatoon, but Splatoon didn't come out until later in the week. I was like, so you couldn't have picked it up anyway?
All right, first of all, we didn't make fun of them, all right? We made fun of Chris. Second of all, I'm surprised he's still shocked. And third of all, I'm surprised he still listens to this.
Yeah, it's 2017. You still wear V-necks, you still wear tight pants, we're making fun of you.
In your colored jeans, sir.
Stop being so fashionable and
maroon.
Fit. It's not our fault you can fit in those clothes and we can't.
You walk around with your shirt off, you get oogled. I walk around with my shirt off, I get arrested.
Excuse me, sir. Sir, please save the children.
There are kids here, sir. Whatever.
Oh man. Yeah, and the best part is like our insults aren't even insults; they're like insulting compliments. I'm
Chris
sorry,
Barrett
you're so fit and talented.
That needed to be just stopped. Just too good looking, just too good at everything. we just got to bring him down, you know?
Yeah. That's the fat guy's lot in life.
His ego is just too up there. We just got to knock him down.
Make the people who look good feel bad about themselves for looking good. Pretty sure that's why God put us on this planet.
And that's why there's fat people. The purpose. But yeah, I've been really busy this week. So I went to a poetry slam for the first time. I actually had a good time, but I wouldn't do it again.
Who's the girl?
Don't worry about it, KB.
Ew.
No,
hippie chicks don't shave their pits. All right, just keep that in mind.
Thanks for that.
No problem.
No, it was.
I'm looking out for your best interest.
Interesting experience. There are a lot of old people. Well, these guys look like one guy got off the mic. I'm pretty sure he was dead. Looked like he was gonna pass out tomorrow.
Nice. Nice. Speaking of dead people, we had our staff meeting at work today, and for those of you that don't know, I work at a nonprofit that's funded by your beautiful taxpayer dollars. So every so often, our boss has to check certain databases to make sure we're not terrible people. So one of the databases he has to check is it's like a federal loan defaulting database. So if any of us are defaulting on a federal loan, student loan primarily, we cannot be employed by a government agency because that's like they're paying the person twice. So another database he had to check today, or he has to check or had to check every 3 years, was the Social Security death records database. So basically, when you're hired, they have to check this database to make sure the Social Security number you use does not belong to a dead person. So they're basically making sure you're not dead, right? And then he had to check it every 3 years to make sure you still weren't dead.
What?
Until a bunch of people pointed out to the beautiful county of San Bernardino that, hey, if we hired them and checked it and they weren't dead when we hired them, we probably don't need to check this database every 3 years because they're still in our office and breathing.
So
government.
Why would
is a beautiful thing.
Explain that to somebody? Running a whole state.
That's why we're losing money.
Yeah. That's why we're paying so much.
Yeah. It's awesome.
Beautiful thing. Well, Bunyea. Looks like, again, we're just terrible in the gaming sphere right now.
No way.
We're not playing anything. But August, we got a lot of hits. A lot of bangers, as I like to say, coming up.
Here's the thing. We're real. We're not these fake companies that get paid to play video games. We're the salt of the earth. You know our impressions and opinions are not paid for or donated.
I think most of the influencers aren't paid for.
Gamergate. Son.
Oh, God.
Still real.
Never forget.
IGN. Just kidding. It was a joke. It's a joke. I forgot you're trying to get a job there.
Stop! I'm not saying that right now. Twice with this.
Speaking of which, I saw they posted some new positions, so you might want to check that out.
No, it's a TV. Never mind. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Already looked into it. I'm on it, KB. Thanks for that, though.
Cool.
You ruined my segue.
Sorry.
What was I going to say?
I ruined things.
By the way, I thought salt of the earth was a negative thing for the longest time.
No, it's a good thing.
That was the first time I've ever heard it used properly.
No, it's like you're the salt of the earth. You're the grassroots. You're the genuine people. It's not an insult. It's how Donald Trump won the White House, man.
Oh, God.
His grassroots campaign, the toothless hicks.
Oh, man. They're not all like that. Most of them are, though.
I know. My dad voted for him. My dad's got all his teeth.
Oh, God. Well, Bunyea, let's get into the news. On the Doherty report. you want to read this for? Do you want to read this first story since you edited it?
Since I edited it, you mean since I copy and pasted it from IGN? Sure.
I just don't know how to pronounce. Is that virtuous?
Yeah, looks like it. So the first story coming to us from IGN,
Shout out
and
IGN.
the wonderful Joe Screbbles, which there's some theory out there that it's a made-up name.
That's not.
I personally believe he's real. So yeah. Coming from IGN, Virtuous, the studio responsible for working on Assassin's Creed: The Ezio Collection, probably shouldn't make that as a claim to fame. Batman: Return to Arkham, that one had some problems too, and the recent Final Fantasy remasters, which look beautiful. So 1 for 3 ain't bad. It's a Hall of Fame batting average. Porting a AAA title to the Nintendo Switch. They're currently working on one. Well, right, they don't have the announcement of what title it is. No indication is given to what the title might be, and much of Virtuous' past work makes for a good fit. Batman Arkham City was ported to Wii U previously. Ubisoft is one of Nintendo's closest third-party partners in Square.
Reading the article.
I am. Hold on. And Square Enix already has more than one project in production for Switch. I was just giving a little bit of background that the wonderful Joe Screbbles gave. So go read the full article over at IGN.com. Beautiful article. Give them the attention. No, I don't know what we're getting. It's kind of interesting what could be out there. Wouldn't be hard to port over the Ezio collection. It's not going to require that much effort on their part to do it. The Switch can run it, and I think the same can be said for Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. Really interesting to see if they did port over the Arkham games, if Arkham Knight would make the jump to Switch. That would be pretty impressive to me if the Switch was able to run that. I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's going to be able to. That game is probably one of the prettiest games that came out this generation on console, and I don't see that little system doing much in terms of doing that game justice. I really hope it's not Final Fantasy, because I could give a crap about that.
We're not Chris Barrett.
Nope. But I don't know. I think the games I'm hoping for, it's the Arkham games, but it really kind of brought up the question, like, what games from the last generation would we want to see make a jump to the Switch and be something that we can take on the go with us?
And I think that's interesting, because I don't think it's anything like, I don't think they're going back to the well. I don't think they're porting something they already ported over onto the Switch. And you said they're working on more than one?
No, it's just the article says they are working on one, and then they gave examples of ports they've done in the past.
Okay, so I think it's something that is going to be completely out of left field. I mean, if you think about it, because I don't think, well, so let's say they do the Batman games, port it over. Well, that's not the newest Batman game on it. So then what are they going to do? Because that's not going to run on the Switch.
Right.
So it'd be pointless to do that. Assassin's Creed, same thing.
Nah,
so it's like these are kind of dead ends.
You could stop playing Assassin's Creed after Revelation and you'd be okay.
But, well, you stop playing Assassin's Creed by not playing Assassin's Creed in your mind.
Hey, it was good for a while, and then it got weird, and now
Black Flag was good, and then
now it's just kind of in obscurity.
The one they had me on, they lost me on, so I just have given up on that series completely.
Yeah, you really hated Assassin's Creed 3.
It was terrible, and that was the one that was going to get me in. I was all about it. The American Revolution, like, good concept.
So much potential. So much potential. We didn't need a 2-hour training level because most of us had played one of the 5 Assassin's Creed games before that. Yeah, it was obnoxiously long to get to that point where you were an assassin.
I wish it was 2 hours. I would have liked it a little more.
But So what do you hope it is then? Like, not even what do you think it is. If you could port over any collection of games to the Switch, what would it be?
Well, it says AAA, but when I first read the story, what I jumped to was the Bandicoot.
Good Lord.
I know, but no, think about it though. It makes sense. Let's say because Vicarious Visions already basically has it ported over to the Xbox One from what it seems like with the leak screenshots and whatnot. With the Nintendo Switch, that's a little trickier because we were talking about that game's not going to run. Like, it looks too good. It already lags on my PS4 from time to time. Like, I don't think you can get that to run on the Switch. And Vicarious Visions, I know from the way the Bandicoot's been selling, that they're already on to the next thing. They're not going to be able to waste time to be able to descale the whole game to be able to run on the Switch. So why not give it to someone like a Virtuous?
Yeah, could be. That'd be awesome. I mean, I'd probably pick it up. As I was sitting here kind of looking at my little collection of games, one I thought would be really cool, and the Switch could totally do it because it's last gen stuff. And if the Switch can run Skyrim, it can probably run almost anything from last gen, maybe besides The Last of Us.
Yeah, the PS3 couldn't even run Skyrim.
The BioShock collection. How sick would that be to have that on the go?
On the go, it would be. I feel like a lot of the character in that game would be lost on the go, though. I feel like that's a game that you just need on a big screen and headphones in.
Yeah, I'd still play it. I'd buy it.
Oh yeah,
I'd buy it.
I think we're thinking, like, I think it's going to be more along what I think it's going to be, more of the classic, like, or less adult game, I guess. I don't know. I just see Nintendo going that way. I mean, I don't see it Batman because you're not going to be able to play the last one. Assassin's Creed because you're not going to play any of the new ones. It just seems weird to put Assassin's Creed on there and be able to, like, not supporting it continually.
Yeah.
And then I guess Final Fantasy, but
I
don't think that would run.
We already got too many JRPGs coming to Switch. I want some Americanized violence.
You want that? No, not Conquer.
No,
I lost it. Bubsy. You want that Bubsy on the Switch?
No. Oh, God. You know what I really want on the Switch is Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, but that ain't happening.
That ain't happening, son.
Stupid Microsoft. Stupid Rare. Stupid. Frick.
Well, so BioShock's really what you would want.
I mean, that would probably be. I think that would be the most fun one for me, just because I really want to dive back into that. Even though I have it on PS4, I just don't have the time to mess with it. So I think having it on the Switch, I'd actually be able to complete them again. Oh shoot! Sorry, I got distracted. But no, I think it'd be a lot of fun. But we'll see. We'll see. There's potential there for a lot of the games from a lot of the AAA titles from last generation to come over to the Switch. So we'll see.
So summary of the story: if you have a Nintendo Switch and you're excited to play old games, be excited. There's more old games coming your way.
The old stuff.
The theme of this generation. The next thing on the docket on the Doherty report is Destiny 2's expansions are going to be very important for the overall health and success of the shooter. According to publisher Activision. I know, big surprise.
No way.
On an earnings call today, Activision publishing CEO Eric Hirschberger gave a high-level overview of the publisher of what the publisher is thinking of Destiny 2 ahead of launch and the importance of its DLC. Starting off, Hirschberg said that a lot of positive signs about Destiny 2. Starting off, Activision believes that in the game itself, Hirschberger said the publisher has a tremendous amount of confidence in it. We've received almost universally positive feedback from both the press and fans alike. Hirschberg adds that the game's development cycle is continuing to close strong. One of the reasons why Activision is so optimistic about Destiny 2 is because it's taking steps to broaden the franchise's appeal. Hirschberg said that things like bringing it to PC, localizing it for more countries, and partnering with Blizzard to launch the PC edition through the World of Warcraft's company's massively popular Battle.net service. He added that pre-order for Destiny 2 is very strong, and that it has overwhelmingly high percentage of pre-orders that have been premium versions of the game. That include the game and its expansion content. That was a struggle. Destiny 2 will also be supported with multiple expansions after launch. While these have yet to be fully detailed, Hirschberg stressed that Destiny 2's expansion content is incredibly important. Finally, and maybe most importantly, with a game like this, Destiny is so engaged that the follow-on content is almost as important, if not more important, than the main game. Hirschberg said, Hirschberg has been open to admitting that Bungie did not release expansion content for Destiny 1 fast enough to meet demand. For the sequel, Activision brought in studios like Vicarious Visions and High Moon Studios to work alongside Bungie. So, there's a lot more to this story.
Yeah, you copy and pasted the whole thing. I was like,
no, never mind. It was just a break. Right. In Hirschberg's words, he said Activision is widening its stable of developers to keep with demand for more content. Kyle Bunyea, as the resident Destiny fan, what do you make of this? As important, if not more important, than the actual game.
I don't think expansion content is more important for Destiny 2 this time around. I think the base game needs to be a continuation of what we saw with the Taken King. Destiny 1 came out and fell flat for a lot of people. And we talked about this a few episodes ago, where it was just like something was missing. The story was in these grimoire cards that you had to go onto Bungie.net and read. And I ain't about that reading life. They had some flat voice acting that they went ahead and changed. But with the Taken King, we saw a better grounded story, more intensive mechanics than we saw in the previous raids, things like that. I feel like if Destiny 2's main story takes a step back from the bar that the Taken King set, I'm going to be really disappointed. So I think this first 6 months for Destiny 2 is going to be crucial, because if there's already people very skeptical. The article is saying we got a lot of positive feedback. There's a lot of positive things coming out of the beta, and it's like, okay, yeah, but I also heard a lot of negative things coming out of the beta, like it's Destiny 1.5. It's the expansion. It's the Cabal expansion. The Cabal are enemies in the game. For those of you that don't know, we got an expansion for every type of enemy in the game. We had a raid for every type of enemy in the game in Destiny 1, except for the Cabal. The Cabal were pretty much at the forefront of a lot of missions. So the main story of Destiny 2 centers around the Cabal, and a lot of people are thinking this was an expansion that got scrapped and pushed as the main story for Destiny 2, which is exactly what it is. So these first 6 months, you're going to have a lot of skeptical people. There's people excited about it 100%. Like, that is absolutely true. But if you come out and you don't hit it out of the park, a lot of people are not going to be picking up your extra content. Those people that you're trying to reach out to, that you're trying to broaden the horizon to, these first 6 months, this first part of the base game is crucial. Forget the expansions, forget all of that. If you can't nail the beginning, if you can't get a strong base in Destiny 2, the rest is going to crumble. Can't build a house on sand, my friends. And I'm worried that they're too focused already on the expansions. And I know the main story is probably already, the main game is already gone gold. It's already coming out next month, but it's just for the last month, this has been the story of them talking about the expansions and all the studios they're bringing in on the expansions, and we talked about it before too, is that worries me. I want Bungie to be the ones to work on the expansions. I don't want all these other studios to come in because there's going to be something lost in translation. I hope not, but we've seen it time and time again in the past when another studio comes in and they try to pick up the torch and run with it. Something's missing when that happens. So I'm hoping that's not going to be the case this time around. I'm hoping that all of these studios will be working cohesively together, but I just can't shake the feeling that Activision's doing this for a money grab. That's the only reason they brought in these studios, is to put out more content that people will pay $20, $30 for a pop and just get more money in their pockets. And I'm worried that it's going to be subpar expansions and not the quality expansions that we did see towards the end of Destiny 1's life cycle.
I mean, when we talked about this originally with the studios being brought over, which I still think Vicarious Visions is going to be pulled off of it. So, I mean, there's going to be whatever DLC they're working on is going to be a terrible, terrible map, because they're going to start on it and then they're going to be pulled from it. But I got a very different take reading this article. I feel like they're investing they're investing in Destiny as a platform instead of a game, like World of Warcraft. I just seeing the push that they're putting behind it. It sounds like Destiny 3 is not going to come for a long, long time. I think they're going to take this to be able to experiment with the World of Warcraft model in the console space. I mean, we see it with Evolve. Evolve was released a while ago, and it still has a very thriving fan base online, and like they're still releasing things for it every couple months. So to me, I see them taking this and being like, okay, look, we're not going to try to sell you another game, because look at the jump from Destiny 1 to 2. Like, there's not a very big jump. You said it yourself. People are saying it looks like Destiny 1.5. Now, and that's negativity in the zeitgeist of the Destiny fans. Like, oh, it's just 1.5. So now they're just taking this game and they're just going to run with it. And instead of getting negative feedback on Destiny 3 that, oh, this is just 2.5, or this is just Destiny 2, what Destiny 2 should have been. They're just going to make it an evolving platform into something like that you and me want to see with things like Madden. Like, just making it an evolving platform to where you buy the game once and then you buy updates for it, essentially.
Right. And that's my hope. That is 100% my hope.
Best case scenario. That's the best.
I think the line that just worries me is when he says that the follow-up content is almost as important, if not as important, as the main game. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. You need a strong foundation before you start adding bricks to the top.
I agree. I definitely agree. I think that game should come out strong, of course, and finish and complete and work and be interesting. But in this world that we're in now, with so much post-launch updates and patches, that's not really true. Like you said, that vanilla Destiny was not that fun. It was not as big as it is now. It's the DLC content that really got people on board with it.
Yeah, but I mean, but even then, the foundation of solid gunplay was there that Bungie's known for. The designs were cool. All those things were there. And granted, those things are still going to be there for Destiny 2. It just, I don't know. I can't shake this feeling in my gut that it's not going to be what we're hoping, but I could totally be wrong.
Yeah, it's one of those things where we're going to have to wait and see, because Activision is a notoriously greedy publisher. But recently we have seen things from them that give me a little hope that it's not just a cash grab.
Yeah.
But speaking of crash grab, the success of the Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy is no secret, as it's topped numerous sales charts since its release in late June. During a post-earnings conference call with investors, Activision Blizzard discussed the game's performance and ability for more remasters from the company, and the odds sound good. Responding to a question about Crash's success could mean, Activision CEO Eric Hirschberg said, "We knew that there was a passionate audience for Crash, full disclosure, myself among them, but had no idea. It's hard to tell if that's a vocal minority or it's a real mass audience until you put something out there. Crash has surpassed all of our expectations by a pretty wide margin." Without revealing any sales figures, Hirschberg then noted how well the Insane Trilogy has performed. It was the world's top-selling console game in June, even though it was only released second to the last day of the month. And we learned that it is the top-selling PS4 game on the PSN in the US and Europe. And while there's likely something to be gleaned from the success of the Insane Trilogy, Hirschberg argued that the remasters are not entirely new space for Activision. I think it's just another example of us listening to our communities and our fans and offering them great content where they want to engage, which is one of our core strategies. He said, we think other great IP in our portfolio that we're considering. Nope, hold on. In our portfolio that we're considering, of course. But this is not new. This isn't new behavior for us. We've already shown the power that is Modern Warfare Remastered and Zombie Chronicles, and Crash Bandicoot is obviously another great example. So the strategy that clearly has our attention, and while there are no new announcements today, I think you can be confident there will be more activity like this in the future with other great IP, another opportunity beyond remastered to look at some of our classic IP, whether or not it could be reborn on a new platform, just like Skylanders on mobile. Our IP library is an asset that we've done right and can be very powerful. Bunyea. We're getting it. Now we've talked this to death.
Yeah. I'm over it.
I know, but this is confirmation. This is just confirmation. That's why I put it in here, because we are definitely getting CTR, Spyro remasters, and then some.
You're not kidding. Crash Bash, calm down.
No, I think they're going to milk this cow dry, and they're going to release everything possible, because this is Activision, and like we said, most things for them are crash grab. So they are going to try to do this with everything. They're going to kill what's so special about the Insane Trilogy.
They're going to kill the Bandicoot. Kill the Bandicoot. Kill the Bandicoot.
Hopefully, it's still with Sony. I think that IP is still, Sony has some kind of say in it. But we'll see, since, like I said, it's recently been leaked that, or like screens with Xbox prompts. So who knows? But this also ties in with one of our user questions. Hild Shore 87 Alexander, our boy, what forgotten games deserve a sequel or even just a remastered version? For example, I've been waiting for another Enslave OTTW game. What's that stand for?
No idea. Sorry, man. I don't know what that is. In all honesty, what came to mind when I saw this question, I know we've talked about this before, but
we've talked about remasters, not sequels.
Yeah, well, we've talked about sequels. We've talked about bringing franchises back from the dead. The one I want to see come back is Recently Dead, and I know it's never going to see the light of day again. In the way I would do it is Disney Infinity, because I think they fell just short of what at least I was expecting. I misread their vision when it came out. So Disney Infinity, I was expecting something like Skylanders or Lego Dimensions, where you could use any of these characters in any world, right? And I was like dying for the 90s playsets, the 90s cartoon playsets. If I could bring back one game for one sequel, it would be Disney Infinity 4.0, the 90s collection. And it would be DuckTales, Darkwing Duck, Chippendale Rescue Rangers, Tailspin, and all of these cool little collectible toys, because I've been looking on Amazon a lot lately. Fun fact, really liking the look of some of these Funko Pops. Some of them.
God,
not all of them.
Don't go down the rabbit hole.
Not all of them. But saw on there some beautiful 90s Funko Pops that really got me excited and really bummed at the same time, because I saw a Darkwing Duck Funko Pop and I was like, man, Disney Infinity crapped out right before we got to that point, especially with DuckTales coming out.
Everything coming out. They're redoing everything.
This fall. And Darkwing Duck said to have a cameo in the new DuckTales cartoon. It didn't last long enough. I just needed like 2 more years of Disney Infinity, and I could have gotten my 90s cartoons. I could have gotten my 90s cartoon toys and my 90s cartoon play sets, and I would have loved it. But alas, it won't happen because Disney wasn't making enough money off of it.
Interesting choice. Odd choice that out of everything that you bring back Disney Infinity.
Just let me be clear. It's just for DuckTales, Darkwing Duck.
Woo.
Tailspin, you're throwing me off every freaking time. And Chippendale Rescue Rangers. Heck, you could throw the gummy bears in there. Is that
Disney property? Is that canon, sir?
Dude, 90s cartoon, the 90s Disney cartoons, there is not a lineup that can touch those early 90s Disney's cartoons. I defy any company to come out and say, here's six, right? DuckTales, Darkwing Duck, Tailspin, Chippendale. Okay, five. There is not a company that can come out and say, we had 5 extremely successful cartoons all running at the same time.
You know what can rival that, though? Nickelodeon's lineup of their original content, like All That, Kenan and Kel, Amanda Show.
Okay, All That without Kenan and Kel, no good. So I don't consider that successful because it died shortly after that.
All That is so good. No, there's some gold sketches in there.
It died after Kenan and Kel left.
Whatever. Anyway, Nickelodeon killing the game. Always killed the game.
No, not even in the 90s. You had, like, if we're looking solely at cartoons, you had Rugrats, Hey Arnold, SpongeBob. Doug. SpongeBob was not the 90s. It was late 90s, 2000s. Late 90s. That doesn't count because that wasn't running at the same time as these ones that I'm talking about. So we got Rugrats. I'm talking about like heyday of Nickelodeon. You got Rugrats, Doug, Rocko's Modern Life, Ren and Stimpy. I wouldn't even say Cat Dog was wildly successful.
So good.
It was good, but I don't think it was successful. And then I'm thinking of Ah Real Monsters, but I don't even think that was that successful. It was just a solid cartoon that got a very limited run. It's crazy when you look at like the DVD collections that come out, how few episodes there really are of these shows that were in the 90s. And it's like, oh man, the ones that had like long runs were the really good ones. And the other ones, it was just rerun after rerun after rerun. So those early 90s Nickelodeon cartoons, while good, I don't think.
You don't even think that it's a competition.
I don't think it's a competition.
You're nuts. What about 90s Cartoon Network?
I didn't have Cartoon Network as a kid. My parents were too poor.
Nuts. So good. You got Johnny Bravo. You got Scooby-Doo. You got the Powerpuff Girls. Those are heavy hitters. Ed and Eddie.
Still, that's 4.
I can get a list right now.
That was good.
Chicken Cow. Courage. The Cowardly Dog.
I don't know. I'll take my 90s Disney cartoons any day of the week.
No, now that I'm talking about it, like, shout out to Nick because Hey Arnold's like amazing. And actually most Nickelodeon shows are amazing, but I think Cartoon Network takes it. The battle of the 3. Cartoon Network has the superior cartoons.
Nickelodeon has the longevity though. They continually give us, especially throughout the 90s and early 2000s, they were consistently pumping out quality cartoons.
So good.
Anyway, yeah.
And the Disney Channel just went down the route of live action, lame Disney Teen Beach movie crap garbage.
But now they're coming back. They're coming back around to us 90s kids that have children of our own. It's a good time to be alive.
Well, they're growing up a little bit. Now they got IGN, the IGN show. Have you been seeing what they're doing with Disney XP or XD, by the way?
No.
Interesting. They have a whole show about Let's Play, like a Let's Play show.
Nice. I like it.
Weird. They're going down a weird route that I like. And I think it's interesting that they're playing in this space that really hasn't been touched in the TV sphere.
It's exciting stuff. Exciting stuff. Anyway, so yeah, Disney Infinity 90s collection. That's what I want to come back.
For me, I want a sequel to PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2. Or 1, I guess, not 2. I want to see them get another crack at it. That and Twin Sanity. I want to see them remaster Twin Sanity, Crash Twin Sanity, and give a sequel to Crash Twin Sanity 2. And just do it. And just go off from there. But those are the two. This actually ties into another user question too. Because the thing with PlayStation All-Stars,
Smash Brothers.
Sorry, what? It's what it should have been. It should have been Smash Brothers. It should have just gone all the way. Should have copied it. Who cares? They did it because they wanted to avoid that kind of conversation of it being a direct copy. But I think it could be really successful right now, especially with the way the PS4 is selling. My idea was always to have it launch with PlayStation All-Stars. They should have launched the PS4 with PlayStation All-Stars and then done a sequel. It would have been a lot more successful. But a user writes in today, Kyle, asking about PlayStation All-Stars 2. This is from Bart Jaraska. His question is, there have been so many goddamn rumors about PlayStation All-Stars these past few days from various sources. I know you made a video about this. Can't wait for the next one, by the way. But I might ask, which characters do you want to see from the sequel? I'll list mine. So you list Crash, Spyro, Abe of Our World, Legend of the Darkoon, Chimera, Morgana from Persona 5, and so on. So, of course, characters that are very PlayStation-esque. I can name off a bunch more, but I'll end it there. What do you want to see from the game, and what rumors, if the rumors are true, will get announced to PSX? Kyle, you're a PlayStation All-Stars hater.
Not a hater. I just would rather play Smash. So much rather play Smash.
And it's the mentality. It's just the way we were born. You were raised a Nintendo kid. I was raised a Sony kid, a PlayStation kid. So PlayStation's lineup means so much more to me than any Nintendo lineup ever will. And I was really excited. That was like a celebration to me. PlayStation All-Stars was like something so unique that they really could have hit on, but they just missed the mark barely. Again, Crash not being in it, I think that's a big one. I think as we see now with all the Insane Trilogy selling, like Crash meant a lot to a lot of people. And same with Spyro. Like I feel like there was just key roster missing people from the roster that I feel like could have moved units. Like I feel like if Crash and Spyro were in it, I think people would have taken it a lot more seriously, as dumb as that sounds.
No, I feel it. Like that, it is weird to me that PlayStation had a mascot fighting game without their biggest mascot from the 90s. That is Smash Brothers without Mario. Makes no sense at all. I did not understand that. You know who I want? You know who I want in that game?
Oh God, let's hear it, KB.
Let's
hear this hot take
from Metal Gear Solid that poops himself all the time.
Great addition.
That's the one I want. Don't know his name, but I just want a guy that I can sit in the corner and poop my pants and throw it at people.
His super is just explosive diarrhea.
Yeah. That'd be freaking awesome.
It's so dumb.
If I think of any others, I'll jump back in, but
I mean, you're right. That is Smash Brothers without Mario. And the reason it wasn't taken seriously is like, yeah, there are some iconic characters they had in that game, but they had a lot of weird ones too, which is good. Keep the weird ones. But it's like if Smash Brothers take out Mario and all the Mario characters, I don't think it would sell as well. Like, actually, I know it wouldn't sell as well. Like, other than like the hardcore Nintendo community, I'm saying to the general public, they see this game as like, these are the characters that get them in. Like, all these freaking Fire Emblem characters. Nobody knows. They're so obscure. They don't care. Game & Watch, weird character. Wouldn't have worked if it was just like a weird roster, like Ice Climbers and whatnot. Yeah. They're cool to see, and they're very important to Smash Brothers. But without Mario, people don't take it seriously. And I know that sounds weird, but like,
no, I agree. I would not have bought any Smash Brothers if it was half Fire Emblem characters.
Yeah,
I'd buy it just to burn it.
Well, I mean, just in reality, it's like you said, that was the most. There's a point in time where Crash was more recognizable to the public than Mario was in the 90s. And that's not just me like blowing smoke like up out my butt, but like that's like a real thing. Like that's a study that I forgot what article it is, but you can Google that. That's like a real thing. So I feel like the exclusion of Crash and Spyro and Cloud and just like all these super iconic PlayStation characters, people didn't take that game seriously. They're like, oh, just got my good and evil Cole.
Yeah.
That's all it goes.
Oh, I want Zeke. I want chubby Zeke.
God, running
around with his gun. That's all I want. Guy who poops himself and Zeke.
Great. These are hot takes. Other than
what's his name? Guy from Second Son.
Dyson. Yeah, I want Dyson. I want Knack.
No, I don't want Dyson. I want the girl.
Oh,
that can control the neon, because that would look sick. That would look sick. Forget Dyson. Dyson sucked.
Dyson did suck, but I think if they made a sequel to that game, they'd make that character more likable. Yeah. They need another crack at it.
Agreed. But yeah, I can't remember her name. It was infamous Second Son First Light was the DLC. So good.
I forgot her name too. God, I like Second Son. It was a really good game.
Yeah, it was good. It was
a fun platinum.
Yeah, the character just didn't connect with people.
And I think it was mostly because it was new hardware and they were just trying to push the tech instead of the story.
Agreed.
But yeah, Delson and the Neon Girl, Knack. I really want to see Knack. I think Knack 2 is going to be good, dude. Mark my words.
Not saying it's not, but it'd be funny.
Of course, keep all the DLC characters that were there.
Can we get rid of Fat Princess?
No, I like Fat Princess. Fat Princess is cool. It's a good character.
No, who was the cheap character? Radek. Get rid of Radek.
I want to replace with a Hellgas soldier. Now, a lot of people don't like that. I've said that, but I think the Hellgas soldier is more iconic than this general from the Hellgas army that dies in the second game.
How have neither one of us said this? Aloy?
That's actually a really good point.
Sick.
Aloy, dude, her super is just a dinosaur that drops in. And she gets on it and just like tears everyone up.
That would be awesome.
See, it's a fun game. This would be an awesome game.
Yeah, it would. They have the lineup to do it. It's just the whole idea of building up to your super just didn't feel right to me. I felt like there wasn't as much skill involved. Because if I remember right, and you're probably going to be like, no. I almost beat you. And you platinumed that. And I almost beat you.
That night.
Right.
For people who don't know, I got it a midnight release. PlayStation All-Stars. Got home. The next morning, it was platinumed. It was done.
Yeah, I believe it. I remember you freaking out, panicking, and so relieved that you beat me because I came this close to ending you in that dumb little tournament, and it was the first time I had ever picked it up.
It was one of the times that we played. You know, you can't win them all, KB.
Yep.
But I thought of one when we were talking. So yeah, Aloy would be amazing. Awesome super. I want to see Toomba. Bring back Toomba. I think that'd be a really awesome, weird character to bring back. Gex.
Ooh, Octodad.
That'd be an interesting one.
Octodad would be fun.
I want to see a Rocket League stage.
That would be really fun.
See, it's cool things they could do. they go the route that Nintendo can't go.
Sorry, now I'm just like picturing Octodad, and you have to control him like you control him in his game. Like that's how you move him. Throws a tie at you.
What's the super?
The chef comes out.
That God.
He jumps on the chef's head, kind of like in Ratatouille. You know how he controls the kid from his hair.
Yeah.
He takes control of the chef and chops everybody up.
God, bring back PlayStation All-Stars. I really want this now. Just call it PlayStation All-Stars. That's another thing. Fix the dumb name.
Yeah, PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale is too long.
Stupid. Well, that's what we would want out of the second one. Kyle, would you actually play that if they fixed the problems with the first one? Would you be into it? Or would you make fun of me again? Because you're a hater.
If they fixed the gameplay and added Aloy and Neon Girl, it's bugging me. I don't remember her name. I'm going to Google it when I get off of here and be mad at myself. And no joke, if they had Octodad, I would do it. Because I'm the guy who plays the obscure characters on Smash Brothers. I'm the guy who freaking loves Duck Hunt on Smash Brothers.
I feel like that's not obscure. I feel like Game & Watch is obscure.
Duck Hunt's pretty obscure. His stuff is ridiculous. It's fun once you figure out.
Oh, you're saying moveset wise?
Yeah. Yeah. His moves are so obscure. The character himself is really obscure too. You know that dog that laughs when you don't get all the ducks? Let's put him in a game.
Yeah. That's why
I loved it. And I did love using Mr. Game & Watch. I was no good with him, but had a lot of fun with that. Little Mac and the Duck Hunt dog are my go-tos in Smash Brothers, just FYI if anyone's curious.
So let's say this happens. Let's say they keep the meter system. You do combos to build your meter to land a super. But you can also kill people by knocking them out of the ring Smash Brothers style.
I like it.
Why? How do you get your super then?
Same way.
The ball floating around the screen. It's just flipped. It's reversed image. Yeah. Like the little cross.
Yeah. It'd be funny. I'd be down. No, I'd be okay with building up a super meter, but I wouldn't want it to be like this thing you could get 6 times in the match. If you're going to do it, it should be something that maybe you get once. Because that's really what it is in Smash Brothers.
I like getting it 6 times. It makes it chaotic.
Right, but it doesn't make it special. It becomes annoying and repetitive at that point when you're getting it 6 or 7 times in a match. The Smash Ball comes up
once, maybe
twice, 3 times, depending on how long the match is going. And when it does come up, you can lose it. And if you don't grab it before it floats away, it's gone.
Yeah, that would be cool if they found out a way, if you're like building your meter, you can lose it somehow. Like not just like a grapple but like someone could steal it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they hit you while you have it.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, if it played more like Smash Brothers, I'd be interested.
Interesting. Well, that is what we think of PlayStation All-Stars and Super Smash Brothers. What do you want to see in PlayStation All-Stars? Let us know in the comment down below. What characters? I'm interested to see this feedback. Do you want another one? Is there interest for it? Be interesting to see. So.
Oh, wait. Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's an obvious one. That's a good one. Way to throw that in there.
Sorry. Last minute addition. Spider-Man would be sick.
That'd be so cool. Oh, man. I really want one now. Please make this happen, Sony. Please, Shuhei. Save our souls. Speaking of saving our souls, the previously available Walmart pre-orders were ultimately canceled. Nintendo has since revealed that the SNES Classic pre-orders should arrive in the US by the end of August. We don't know if they will go up, when they will go up exactly, but you can check out your store listings at some major retailers like Amazon, Walmart, and just keep checking up on them. We appreciate the incredible anticipation that exists for the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, SNES, Classic Edition system, and can confirm that they will be made available for pre-order by various retailers late this month. A significant amount of additional systems will be shipped to stores for launch day and throughout the balance of the calendar year. Bunyea, are these going to be a hot commodity? You really think they're going to pull back, or they said significant amount at stores? Is that 3 to them instead of 2?
They're not going to want any leftover inventory. Nintendo is still going to lowball this. They're not going to meet demand, but they'll have more out there, but they're not going to want it sitting on store shelves. That's not why they're putting these things out. There's nothing special about them if there's extras. So they're not going to do it. They'll put out a little bit more, but it's not going to be an overstock situation at all. It's going to be like the amiibos we see now. They have a finite amount in that first shipment. They'll send it out. If there's really high demand for more, they might send out a few more units. But I think we see that strategy with them time and time again. The Switch was nowhere to be found for a while. It's starting to be kind of a little more available out in the wild, still not out there. Amiibos, like I just said, after that initial release, there's not too many. Stores don't want these sitting on their shelves because after that first wave, the people that got them or that really wanted them got them. And I think that's the same thing with these classic edition consoles. They're not something that a store is going to keep on their shelf and someone's going to walk by and go, oh yeah, I want that. The people that want them are going to get them like really early on.
Yeah. So probably not going to be able to walk into a store and ever see one on the shelf. It can be very similar to how it is now. I feel like it's not going to be any difference because it's Nintendo. But for those of you who are interested, end of August. You just got to keep updating this. Like you would as a kid call GameStop to see if that game is released yet. Back in the day. Going old school.
I like it. I like it.
Are you playing your Switch right now?
No. I was just checking something on my phone. Calm down. Nobody can see me if I'm not talking. Why are you freaking saying something?
In the little box. Because, never mind. We'll get into this later. On to the next story. Following the release of Mass Effect Andromeda in March, Kotaku reported that staffers from developer BioWare Montreal were being reassigned to EA's Motive Studios, which is also based in Montreal. Now, EA has officially confirmed the merger. The teams in EA Worldwide Studios are packed with talent. The more than ever, we're driving collaboration between studios on key projects. With multiple major projects in development in Montreal, we are merging BioWare Montreal with Motive Studios. A EA spokesperson told TechRaptor.net. This is an ongoing process, but there are many exciting roles and opportunities for everyone on the team. BioWare's other studios, including those in Edmonton and Austin, are still operating as normal. This is just a big, dud. This game is so bad. We're shutting down your studio and merging you with another one.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's typical once a game has its initial release that the studio is downsized a little bit. It's odd that this is coming in the wake of their former creative head coming back. In the wake of Andromeda having such negative feedback from Andromeda. What really this says to me is we're not getting the story DLC for Mass Effect Andromeda, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, and EA was like, "Oh no, this isn't true. We're still working on this." Blah blah blah. We're not getting a Mass Effect Andromeda story DLC at all.
No. Yeah, it is normal to see a studio downsize after a game ships, not merge with another studio though. I think that's a clear sign of we have no faith. We have no faith anymore, and we're shutting down your studio, and we're gonna try to wipe that bad taste out of people's mouth because if their next game they release is through a name BioWare Montreal, people are automatically gonna assume that's gonna be a broken game.
It's gonna be crap.
It's like when No Man's Sky's developer Hello Games releases their next game, they need to change the name of their studio.
Yeah,
I just think they do.
I don't think BioWare's in that.
It's not
that position yet Because BioWare, for all the flack that Andromeda got, I think everybody is of the mindset that was EA's fault. That was 100% EA's fault.
Well, after Scoops, Jason Schreier himself reported on that it was rushed out basically by EA.
Yeah.
Like doing an actual story on why it was so messed up at launch.
Well, and I tweeted that first day it came out. I said it needed 6 more months.
But
Minimum.
does that? But I know. But does that matter to the public though? Like, does the general public know? Like, think that no, that's EA's fault? No, because I mean, No Man's Sky is mostly Sony's fault for getting people too hyped, and people don't blame Sony; they blame Hello Games. And when they put out
consumers. Sorry.
I know. I agree. That's what I'm saying. So next time BioWare or Montreal would have put out a game, they would have been like, okay, making stupid jokes on the internet, like, oh, is the facial animations going to work? Am I going to be doing a chicken walk?
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like BioWare has so many good games in their past. For them to be completely, really dismantled to the point where they may not exist in, well, and that's the thing. Am I confusing BioWare with BioWare Montreal? Are they the same thing?
They're not the same thing.
Okay.
BioWare proper is working on
Anthem. Sorry. Yeah, I'm tired.
Sorry. It's like WB Montreal.
Right. I don't think they're ever going to get to that point. They might drop the Montreal and just say, yeah, we're part of BioWare. But, like, that's just who we are. Because, yeah, BioWare Montreal, they don't have a great track record. And now with Andromeda, it's not going to get any better. But it's just one of those things where it's like when you see that name BioWare, you expect a lot more than what you got from Andromeda. Again, I enjoyed Andromeda. Have I beaten it yet? No. Do I want to go back and finish it? Yeah. But at this point, I'm going to have to start over from the beginning because I don't remember anything in that game. So that's kind of disheartening, and that kind of sets me back a little bit from wanting to jump back into it. But yeah, I had a good back and forth with our dude Alex on Twitter about just character interactions, and there is elements of it that are so much fun and so entertaining, but then there's parts of it where it's just like, you missed a little bit. But like I said, this merger just kind of shows me that Andromeda is getting pushed further and further back, and they're hoping people forget about it.
Yeah, I just want to sweep it under the rug. It just, like, this never happened. Like, this is not, that studio doesn't even exist. It's a bummer. It's always sad to see, like, not that people are losing their jobs, but I don't know. I'm sure that's taken a hit to people's pride at that studio. That, like, oh, we're not good enough, that we're just being folded into another studio.
Agreed. But you know what? They probably needed it. I remember seeing an interview with one of the development heads of Andromeda before the game came out, and it was a red flag to me. He was basically just talking about what he was excited most about was all the characters players could sleep with. And I was like, serious? Like, that's what you're excited about?
I'm into the banging.
Well, I'm just like, this game, that's an element of it for some people, but that is not why I play it. That is not why the majority of people play it. And it's kind of pervy that that's the thing you're most excited about, dude. That's weird that you're most excited about video game hookups.
It's the most thing I was excited about for Mass Effect Andromeda.
It's so odd. But yeah, I saw that video and I was just like, okay, that guy's kind of pervy. But whatever.
It's also This is jokes.
No, it would be a joke if he said it once. The whole video was like, oh yeah, you could hook up with this alien and this one and this one. It was like, oh my gosh, this dude sounds so weird. He sounds so weird.
Classic Mike Doherty joke. You just say it enough, it comes back around to being funny.
Or sad.
Well, Kyle Bunyea, before we get into our last story of the week, which is also our conversation of the week, I want to do pick of the week.
Yo,
Kyle,
son, you skipped a story.
I know. Did you not just listen to me?
No, because it doesn't tie into our topic of the week.
Yeah, it definitely does.
I disagree, but you'll.
No, okay. Anyway, so we're doing pick of the week. Pick of the week this week is Tacoma. It's out. It's came out this week. I haven't played it yet. I'm gonna be jumping into it. I'll be giving you full impressions on next week's Chiptooth podcast. It's again, I'm dusting off my Xbox. Gonna go play that. Would you say it's anything else, KB? I feel like that's the most pertinent game coming out this week.
Yeah, I think that's the only game of note that people are really excited about. It's already coming back with a lot of positive feedback, so check it out. I'm not going to.
Slow burn like Gone Home. Now, into our conversation of the show. This last story comes over from GameSpot.com. Player Battlegrounds Unknown has grown into a widely popular title since its release in March. However, its creator is not someone who considers himself a gamer or has a deep love for classic games. On the contrary, Brendan Player Unknown Green doesn't have any interest in classic series like The Legend of Zelda. According to a new interview talking with GameSpot's sister site CNET, Green stated that he doesn't consider himself a gamer. Although he played and enjoyed games growing up, he was never passionate about well-known series. I don't consider myself a gamer, he says, compared to a lot of people I meet at these conventions where their life is dedicated to games. I enjoy games, but I do not consider myself on that level. I've never played Zelda. I've never played these classic games because they don't interest me. His love for hardcore military sims led him to grow frustrated with modern, mainstream AAA games. He expressed irritation with current design trends such as QuickTime events. My frustration with a lot of AAA game titles was they aren't hard anymore, he stated. Once you die 2 or 3 times, you know where the enemies are coming from. And in a lot of the bigger titles, the ending, it's a weird way to put it. The ending, I come from a era where the end boss of a game, you spend effing days and weeks trying to beat him. With a lot of AAA titles these days, there is no end boss. You just press F at a particular time and a cutscene sequence at the end. Kyle Bunyea. That story is because conversations show is our game's too easy. I think he makes some good points.
He absolutely does, but they're not all QuickTime events. Like, that's just not true.
I disagree.
What are you talking about?
I think a majority of games overuse QuickTime events, and I think they do it cleverly sometimes. But for them, I mean, even Uncharted, there's QuickTime events. I don't think there's any major game that, like IP that doesn't use QuickTime events in some way.
Every open world game ever.
There's QuickTime events in there too.
Not really. There was
Horizon.
Okay, that's a hybrid. I wouldn't call that a pure open world game. The Witcher is the one that pops into mind. That game's freaking hard.
There's some exceptions. I understand there are some exceptions.
By the vast majority, yeah, they are kind of easy. Zelda, he's using Zelda as an example. Not Twilight Princess, Breath of the Wild's bosses, super easy. They had these open world bosses that you could encounter that were harder than the actual bosses you fight at the Divine Beast or even Calamity Ganon at the end. I was shocked at how easy Calamity Ganon was to beat. I sat there and I went, that's it? I'm done? And you should not walk away from a boss fight or the end of a game feeling that way. It should be, holy crap.
Thank God. Finally, I can't believe I beat that.
Yeah, that's over. That's how I felt with so many battles in The Witcher, hunting different animals, different beasts. Granted, they got easier as the game went on, but that's just because your character's leveling up, you're getting better equipment. But there were so many times where I seriously died probably a good 15, 20 times trying to kill one, vampire or one, whatever. There's a million different creatures in there with weird names. But that's one of the games that comes to mind when I'm like, he must not be playing the right games. Like, obviously, a lot of these games, a lot of the mainstream games are like that, where it's like, yeah, that was really easy. But I think that's just where society is now. We don't want to be challenged. We want to be told a story.
Do you remember Call of Duty World War II on Veteran? No,
Yes.
not World War II.
No. Yeah.
On Veteran.
Yes.
How impossible that game was. How there's like 10 grenades around you at all times, like almost to where it was broken.
Yeah.
And then now you look at Call of Duty games now, play them on Veteran. They're not nearly as hard.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't think people want to be challenged in the same way anymore.
I disagree. Look at Crash Bandicoot's success. Now, I'm not saying Crash Bandicoot's like this ridiculously hard game, but the first one, people are having fun being able to say, and like I said, I don't think it's like ridiculously like easy, but I don't think it's ridiculously hard. I think it's like a good balance. Like it's not, the first one's not really easy, but it's like it's challenging.
Well, I think that's the difference in the games we're talking about is if you're playing Uncharted and you're really invested in the story and the characters, the vast majority of players are going to be really upset if there's just one part that they get stuck on and spend days on because, well, this part took me out of the story. It was too difficult. It was too, it wasn't, what's the word I'm looking for? It wasn't equal to the rest of the game. It just seemed like this was just a part they wanted me to get stuck at, wanted me to struggle with. I just wanted to continue on in the story. And it's like, I think there's a lot of gamers out there that just want the story.
I guess that's a good point because if you make a game too like difficult, that is gonna like obstruct the story. Like that's gonna put a halt in the story. And if you're a story-driven game like Uncharted, then like, what's the point? But I mean, at the same time, look at Last of Us on Grounded or Survival.
Yeah.
Where it's like
it's difficult, but again, it's not getting the critical acclaim for survival mode. It's not getting the national attention for survival mode. It's getting the attention and the love because of the story. While those hard modes are in there for people, it's for when you have already beaten the game. That's why the hardest modes typically unlock after you've already played through the story once. And that's where I get a little irritated. Like, Arkham Knight, all the Arkham games had Game Plus mode that would unlock at the end. And even The Witcher has a version of that where a harder mode unlocks when you're done, which I wouldn't want to play that game.
I don't know, just played it twice. Harder mode.
I played it 1.5 times. And I love that game, and I really want to play through it again for some reason. But I mean, I think there's a progressive difficulty now with video games, especially open world ones. I think there are those moments where you go into an area and you try to do something. You're like, oh crap, nope, can't do that yet. I'm going to steer clear of that area for a long time and build up my character. But yeah, I do agree that games are easier. I don't agree that they're all quick time events.
I think he was just saying like that is a fair observation. I'm not saying they're all quick time events, but there's a good chunk that ends ineffectively, and that's what I'm worried about Spider-Man.
Yeah. If he wants a real challenge and if he wants a real boss like to fight at the end of something, sounds like Mr. Brennan Green needs to pick up Destiny, because you can laugh all you want. The mechanics at the end of the raids are straight up old school boss fights. The stuff you have to do, these bosses aren't just bullet sponges. The thing that comes to mind specifically, and there's multiple raid bosses, but Oryx in the Taken King DLC for Destiny, it required so much teamwork and so many things having to happen at the right time. It was really hard to get that done if people weren't in sync. So just to give you like a brief overview of the things you had to do, there are these 4 platforms that are kind of staged throughout. You have to jump onto these platforms in the correct order based on where Oryx is standing in the room. Okay. As you jump on these platforms, for your fire team jump on these platforms, these invisible platforms above you show up. And one of you has to run along these platforms, get this orb, slam it down. Then Oryx kind of moves to the specific area. As he's moving, all these other enemies are flooding in. These orbs show up, and these knights come in that are light eater knights. And if you don't kill them, they devour these orbs that you need to damage Oryx. So there's all these different mechanics going at the same time that when you watch these guys try to do world's first raid completions on Twitch, it's intense. And the way they're processing things and the way they're brainstorming things together, that is difficult. I think he's just not playing the right games, because there are still difficult games out there. Dark Souls is impossibly difficult for a lot of people. The Witcher is difficult. The Destiny raids are difficult. Donkey Kong Tropical Freeze is freaking difficult. There are those games out there for the people that want them. But again, I think the vast majority of the gaming population doesn't want that challenge anymore. They want the experience. They pay $60 to play something that they can beat, and at the end go, that was really good. And if they want to play it again on a harder level, they will.
I typically I will pick the hard mode to play on a game. Just challenge myself, and if I need, especially if there's a trophy tied to it, so I don't have to play it 5 million times. Because I like the challenge, but I don't know. I think there's something to be said for story mode, like story games, story heavy games, and gameplay heavy games. Something, because he does have a point with the gameplay heavy games. They are easier. Like, I get the story argument that you're making, that like dumb them down a bit, but just gameplay mechanic games are not, like, even the Housemarque games, like they're hard sometimes. Not even that. I can't even say they're hard. I know. I feel like we've gotten away from how hard games used to be. I know I'm just rambling on here at this point, but
well, this is where I'm kind of struggling. I'm trying to think of what games was he playing as a kid that were so hard.
It's gonna be in the article it goes on to say, no, I'll tell you right now. In the article, if you click on the article, it's these military simulation shooters is what he was playing. Okay. So it sounds like what he really means is shooters aren't as hard as they used to be.
Oh, absolutely. You can run through a level now and not get touched.
Which is what I was making my point about the World at War compared to what World War II is going to be, WW2. Right. And in that case, yeah, I do absolutely think he's right that shooters aren't as hard as they used to be. You can get through a Call of Duty campaign on veteran easily. You can get through a Killzone level on the hardest difficulty easily.
Right.
Because I again, you've changed my perspective on it. Yeah, I do think games, like, in general, are easy. I don't necessarily think that's bad. And they're doing a good job of giving people who want that option of that extra difficulty the option to do so, other than freaking hiding it behind you have to beat the game first to get it, which is stupid, like you said. But he does have a point. Shooters are not as hard as they used to be.
100%. And when I bring up Destiny, the main game, not difficult at all. It was not difficult to get through a lot of that. I think there was one time where I was like, oh, shoot, I need help. But the raids are where the difficulty lies. The Division had moments where I was like, crap, I need someone else. I need Connor to come in, to jump in and help me out. I think those games are out there, but yeah, if he's playing first-person shooters, there's not a lot of difficult first-person shooters out there anymore. The difficulty in first-person shooters now is mastering them online. That's where the difficulty comes in.
Well, and then like things like you're saying, Destiny and the Division, the challenge of course you're gonna need more people. Like more people makes it easier. So I feel like that's not a valid difficulty. Like, of course they're gonna be harder because they're meant for you to play with other people.
Well,
and not by yourself.
When I bring up Destiny, yes, the raids are designed for 6, but it doesn't make it any easier having 6. It takes a long time. That first time when you're running through a raid, it takes you forever to beat that boss. By the time you've ran it for the 50th time for your loot run, of course you're going to get through it really quick. But that first time, I don't care who you have. I'm serious. You can go and watch Alfredo plays. You can watch King Gathalion on Twitch. You can watch these guys run through that first raid run. It's freaking hard. These guys spend 8 to 10 hours just on trying to figure out the mechanics of the little boss fights that are in these raids. And if they weren't going for world's first completion, like if they weren't putting so much pressure on themselves to be done before everybody, it would probably take a week if they handled it like a normal gamer, or they just said, you know what, I'm setting that down. I'm taking a step back. I can't do this. But these guys get all hard and sweaty trying to figure it out. And they go, no, I am not stepping away from my controller until we beat this. Because that's their job. They're Twitch streamers. They want that satisfaction of being the best at that game. But the difficulty is still there. Like I said, he's just got to find it. He's playing the wrong games.
I think he's right. Well, in the shooter genre. But I also think he's right in every other genre. I do think games are too easy. I feel like if you're not being challenged by a game, what's the point of playing a game, even though that might not appeal to the mainstream? I feel like that's part of the experience of playing a game, is having a challenge and being challenged throughout it. And if you're not being challenged throughout it, then what? Like, why? Like, honestly, why is it a game? Why not it just be a movie?
Well, here's a point of contention too. If a game is hard from the beginning and you slowly master it, is it that the game was too easy, or is it that you mastered the mechanics and figured it out? Because when I think about Mario Kart and I put it on 200cc, I can rock 200cc and get first place in all cups, all races. Doesn't mean it's easy, but you master the mechanics over time and you beat it.
Yeah, but I think I think someone jumping onto Mario Kart for the first time, playing 200cc, and someone playing like just a regular gamer jumping onto Call of Duty on hard for the first time, I think there's a difference. Like, they will clearly say that Mario Kart is the harder one to play. Right. I feel like, but I mean, again, this is just conjecture because like we have no way to actually prove.
Right, and that's where this gets kind of misleading. Obviously, if he's talking about first-person shooters, yes, those have become easier. They just have. But games as a whole, I think there's still that challenge out there if you want it.
I agree. I've come around on this. Originally, when I put this in as a conversation of the week, I was on his side throughout the whole thing, but you really do have me thinking that, like, if you just look at the amount of games we're getting in a year and at a time, like, we're getting more. So there's just going to be more variety. And instead of all the games being impossibly hard, it's some of the games are impossibly hard. And then there's easier experiences out there for other people.
Yeah. The one thing I would like to see, especially with these historically accurate shooters or shooters taking place in the historical context, I want them to be impossibly hard. They need to go back to that, because these games, while they serve an entertainment purpose, they also carry a lot of responsibility in being historically accurate. Show the people playing this game how impossible it was to take Omaha Beach, and give them some kind of realization that real men did this, and it took you 50 tries to do it in a virtual realm. Like, I think that's the kind of weight that really hard World War II shooter can carry for some people, where they maybe in between one of those deaths, they go, man, my great grandpa did that, like, for real. And just kind of like puts things in perspective in a different way. I've said it time and time again. I've learned more about World War II from Call of Duty and Medal of Honor than I ever did from any of my history teachers in high school or junior high. Because those games for me were challenging, and it did put those things into perspective where I was like, holy crap, like, there's machine gun nets all over that ridge. How am I supposed to do this? How did they do this in real life? How did these men storm this beach and take those machine gun nets? That's insane. And it puts it into perspective where you're just like, real men did this.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I think we're getting into something really special with this generation with historical shooters that I'm excited to see. And I hope I agree with you. I hope they do it. I hope they do make it impossibly hard, because those games, they can have weight. They can be something that gives to society more than it just being a mindless shooter, like you were saying. But another cool thing that happened in Battlefield 1 is when you died as somebody, you came back as somebody else.
Right.
And I think that would be a cool addition for World War II, Call of Duty World War II, because, you know, you're taking the beach of Normandy and it's impossibly hard, and you're not the same person you were when you started.
Yeah.
It's cool little things like that. I think this generation can really bring perspective on things like World War II, like you were saying. I don't know. I just thought I'd add that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I would love to see first-person shooters, especially the ones that are supposed to be grounded in realism and grounded in historical context, return to that incredibly difficult level. Like you were saying, World at War was at, when you were in those trenches on those Pacific islands getting bombarded by grenades. It's like,
worst.
Yeah, that's probably exactly what it was like for these dudes that signed up, got drafted, that were trying to take these island chains. How many of them died because of some random grenade that got thrown in then when they weren't looking? It's just, I don't know. I've talked to my wife about this, and we've gone back and forth and had really serious discussions about, you know, when am I gonna be okay with my kid playing an M-rated shooter? Like, what is it gonna, you know, I'm not just gonna let my kid pick up Grand Theft Auto. I'm not a bad dad. I've seen too many kids where it's like they're 6, 7 years old, 8 years old picking up Grand Theft Auto, and it's totally screwing up their perception on things. And it's like, with a historical shooter, I think I'd be way willing to let my 10, 11-year-old son pick that up and have it be an awesome discussion point for him, and to talk to him about these things. And then, you know, obviously let him play different M-rated games as time goes on. But I think it would be really cool to start with a Call of Duty World War II and say, hey, you want to know what your great-great-grandpa went through? Let's watch this. Let's play this together. Give you some perspective. Like, yeah, death in video game isn't real or finite, but death is real. Like,
Yeah.
you need to have some perspective on this before I let you jump in and play any other game where you're killing anybody. I don't know. I've gone back and forth on how I'm going to handle that one, because I'm just like, I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Well, in your case for like the bad dad, the Grand Theft Auto thing, I think because in the line of work you're in too, you see mostly the bad side of things.
Oh, absolutely. I see the worst of the worst.
It's easy to have that perspective on something.
For those of you that don't know, work in behavioral health, work with kids from 5 to 18. And it's just, you'd be surprised at how many of them have their hands on Grand Theft Auto at what ages.
Yeah. But heads up, your kid's going to play these games before you give them the go ahead.
I don't know.
I did.
I'm going to have a different perspective on gaming than my parents did, where I'm not going to, my kid's not going to feel the need to hide things, I would hope. That's my goal. Obviously, there's going to be things he hides from me and does things that I don't know. I'm not a delusional parent.
Oh, what if he wants to play Grand Theft Auto? Then what?
Obviously, he's going to find a way to play it, but I'm going to have an honest discussion with him and be like, why are you playing that? Like, let's really talk about why you're playing it.
It's to beat some hookers on the side of the road.
Right. Let's talk about what's in that game, bro. Like, come on. I don't know. As I've gotten older, and I know this is going to make me sound lame, I can't play Grand Theft Auto. I'm like, there's nothing in this for me. Like, as an individual, if you play it and you love it, that's awesome. For me, I'm like, I don't want to be the bad guy. That's not a role I want to play, and that's your role in every Grand Theft Auto game.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, played them like crazy in junior high, high school, college, but I haven't played Grand Theft Auto 5. I haven't played it for a single minute, and I don't miss it. But if that's your thing, that's your thing. I'm not knocking you for it. It's just not my cup of tea.
I got around it on the PSP.
Oh no, my dad totally let me play it. Like, I rented it. I rented Vice City, and I'm playing it. My brother like freaked out. He's like, "Dad, do you know what he's playing?" Blah 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 blah. And my dad's like, "What?" My brother comes in. They're watching me play it. He's like, "You doing the story missions?" I go, "No." He's like, "I don't care." So I was allowed to beat up whoever I wanted to on the street as long as I didn't play the story missions. Granted,
But
my
you
dad
played
didn't.
the story missions.
No, I didn't. I really didn't. Me and my friends always played how long can you survive with 5 stars?
Of course, classic.
Survive.
Dude, we used to do that on the PSP and just pass it around the bus on the way to school. Like on I love the PSP. I miss PSP. Shout out to the PSP.
All right. Anyway, before this runs on too long, yeah, games, some are getting harder, some are getting easier. You just got to find your niche. Ones that should be harder should definitely be harder. Shooters should definitely be harder.
Agreed. KB, thank you for joining me today on the Chip Tooth Podcast.
No problem.
A lot of good discussion today. If you have any feedback on the show, want to chime in on anything, go ahead and comment down below. Go ahead and like the video. It really helps the video get noticed. Share it. That also extremely helps us. It helps us grow. Share with your friends. Share an episode with your friends. Share them a Let's Play. Share with them how it should be if you like the two how it should be as I did. It helps the channel. It helps us grow. We're on track for 500 subscribers, so please help us join us in getting there. I'm Mike Doherty. You can follow me at Cheeks_Junior on Twitter. This is old trusty himself, Sketchy Mailman on Twitter, Kyle Bunyea.
Look out for some rebranding. Got some exciting projects coming up.
Kyle really does, and we will be there to help support him and pimp his stuff when need be. And you can follow CTG Vids on Twitter for all updates on what's going on. If a show's been delayed, if like this week, this is the only content we're doing because I'm moving. That's just where you get all your updates. We'll be pimping out Kyle's stuff when he's ready, good and ready with the rebranding on that Twitter as well. Until next time, players, I'm Mike Doherty. That's Kyle Bunyea, and this is Chip Tooth Gaming, and this is the CT Podcast.
Bye.